This set is actually already out in the OCG. I don't know if it's already included in the most recent metagame report, because there is a new OCG report, but I mean, we can go over it relatively quickly. There's really nothing crazy. It came out today. But I don't think it includes those decks yet. Because it's over here, and it tabulates the 161 top performing decks from 27 tournaments held in Japan, China, Indonesia, South Korea, and Vietnam during 16th to 18th August. So I think this is basically a metagame report. It just came out, but it's the metagame report from last week. So I don't think the set was out last week already. And as a result, obviously none of the decks show up here. And also, they usually say when a new set is included, right? It says like new sets, whatever, right? So this one really, we don't have to talk about it much. Snake Eye 31%, Tenpai 28%. Literally the only two decks as well that they even bother to give a sample deck list about, you know, like nothing else is even mentioned here, right? Look at this conclusion. Snake Eye and Tenpai remain the top dog of the format. That's it. Dude, the OCG is sick right now, man. They are sick. They've had enough, dude. Oh my god. Have mercy with the OCG. Holy shit, Konami. Look at this OCG report. Conclusion, Snake Eye and Tenpai remain at the top. Period. That's it. Done. We're done. Bro. Literally, they are taking the time. This is the paragraph about Snake Eye. And after, like, even just like after the first paragraph in, they're starting to talk about different versions of Floodgates. This portion is dedicated to what kind of Floodgates people are using now in the Snake Eye deck. To, like, survive being Mole Charmeter or Max Seed. Is like, yeah. Bro. The OCG is down bad, I'm telling you. They are down bad right now. I guess we can wait and see if the new deck building pack has an impact on this kind of format, but I'm gonna be honest with you. With the power level that decks like Snake Eye and Tenpai are operating at, I don't even know if decks like Malice or the Raziel deck, like, I'm sure they're playable decks, but I'm pretty sure they would probably, like, go somewhere in the, like, they're not reaching Snake Eye or Tenpai numbers, I think, right? Like, for example, you guys are linking me this right now, which is new OCG metagame report first week after the deck building pack, crossover breakers. Raziel has a big spotlight this week. Yes, Raziel is appearing. I don't know how many decks or tournaments were tabulated in this one. And obviously, Raziel has taken over Snake Eye or Tenpai Dragon. I think it remains to be seen. I think it remains to be seen if this is because Raziel is actually better, or because it's just like new toy syndrome, right? Like, it's like maybe this is from like a bunch of local tournaments and people are sick and tired of Snake Eye and Tenpai, so they were trying the new decks out more, potentially, right? But maybe it's good. Maybe it's good, but maybe it's also gonna shift away from it again in the next couple of weeks, because I think it's a good deck, right? Raziel is a good deck, and so is Malice. Malice is only one copy in this report, but I think it's a good deck, but I don't know if it's better than Snake Eyes realistically, or better than Tenpai Dragon. I don't know if it fulfills that criteria, right? Because you will also notice that decks like Yubel and Centurion are way closer to Snake Eye and Tenpai in this report, which doesn't make that much sense because Tenpai and Snake Eye didn't get worse. It's probably just a matter of some Snake Eye or Tenpai players swapped to try out the new decks. It would be my prediction, but it remains to be seen. I have another question, which is, when did the OCG get their last Forbidden and Limited list? Like, when did that happen? Isn't it relatively fresh? 1st of July. And when is their next? They have set dates, right? They have set dates. When's the next one? 1st of October. Dude, they have a full month left of this. God damn. I heard somewhere that Malice became the most expensive OCG deck. I heard the same thing. I heard that the Malice cards are expensive over there. I don't know how expensive exactly. And I'm gonna be honest with you, the most expensive OCG deck probably still is less than an Engraver. So I don't know how much to interpret into that. I can only guess that it's because it's new and hype decks, and partially because they like those kind of archetypes over there, you know? I don't know. But yeah. I think honestly, I think this deck building pack is one of the best deck building packs we've had in a while. Not to say that the others were bad, because there's a bunch of good deck building packs like in recent years, right? You can go and look back at them and be like, yeah, there's definitely good archetypes in here, right? But I think most of the archetypes that came out in deck building packs were like not as good right off the bat, right? Like you look at something like Pearly, Rescue Ace, and all that kind of stuff. They all needed more support to be really powerful, but they did get they ended up being really powerful eventually. But they weren't all super powerful right out of the pack. Like Runic is a different example, but Runic at this point is also 2 years old, right? We've had plenty of deck building packs where no, there wasn't a deck that was meta right out of the gate, right? Like even Vanquish Soul is like a deck like Vanquish Soul was fine, Centurion was fine. They were playable. They never got like the top meta status. I think this one is relatively strong. I think Raziel and Malice are two pretty powerful archetypes. And I think for us in the TCG, in case you're wondering whether you should prepare to build or play those decks at top level competition, my personal prediction is that depends a lot on what this ban list that we're expecting today, hopefully, or at least this week. I think it depends a lot on that ban list. If that ban list does solid work about Snake Eye and some other stuff in the format, then I think I can see those decks joining our format as literal top meta contenders. If the ban list isn't as good and doesn't really handle Snake Eye, then I think they would go right into the tier 2 kind of category, right? When they release, right? So I think the deck building pack is really powerful. And I think the only reason why it is not Omega hype is the fact that, like, a lot of decks pale in comparison to Snake Eye, right? Like, it's really hard to design a good new deck that isn't completely overpowered and have people hyped for it when Snake Eye is the thing that you're comparing it to, right? Does that make sense? Like, you can publish a deck right now that is, like, super good and super strong. As long as it's not completely overpowered, it'll always look weird compared to Snake Eye. The same is true for White Forest. Like, if White Forest came out pre-Snake Eye, that deck would have been insane, right? Like, that deck is really powerful, whether the runic version or the non-runic versions. Like, they're really good cards. But like Snake Eye and Fiendsmith stuff is just like, you know, like it's better, right? It's like completely broken. So I think that's why people are looking at this deck building pack maybe and be like, yeah, it's just okay. I think they're really strong archetypes. Snake Eye ruined the power level of the entire year. It really, like, yeah, I agree. I think there's a lot of really cool stuff that came out this year that kind of just, like, you know, got overlooked and ignored. Like, I think you can talk about White Forest in this way. Like, I feel like in the grand scheme of things, White Forest was basically ignored by the competitive Yu-Gi-Oh community, right? Melodious as well. Like, there are decks that, like, only a very, like, a handful of people were able to play or top with those decks at bigger events. When they are really strong Yu-Gi-Oh decks, right? Voiceless Voice, Memento, all those decks are really powerful Yu-Gi-Oh decks, but they're, like, literally basically ignored in the grand scheme of things. Like, no one is playing them, but, like, you know, all of those decks could have easily been the best deck in a previous format, like before Snake Eye. All of them could have easily been, like, the most represented deck at a YCS or the most topping deck at a YCS if it wasn't for, like, the power level that we're at right now.